Hi there, this is today's life, and we are back again with another refreshing episode and beautiful topic for us to talk about on the show today. My name is Joyce. I have Lois in the studio, and I have Sele also, whom shall be doing this discussion with me. Good morning. Yes, and just to remind the viewers, we are always live on Facebook and on YouTube with today's life, and today is no different at all because we are also live there. You can send in your contribution, your comment, and whatsoever you want to drop for us, and we'll take it live on the show. We also have a community on Facebook called the Today's Life Community. It is a closed group, but you can join so that we can interact and discuss any topic you want us to discuss on the show. We can start from there, then we'll move it on set. Well, today we'll be discussing support. That's the topic for today. Support, what does that mean to you? How can support be given to someone? How important is support in our lives? And do you think we can stand on our own without support? So many of these things, and we'll be looking at it today on the show. So we'll start with Lois. What is support?
I'll just put it as assistance or giving some, maybe it can be assistance. It can be financially, it can be material things, it can be with your words, like you just hold or trying to hold somebody probably in times of need, in times when someone is going through tough times or hard times, you are there to uphold that person.
And I think just in line with what she said, support is encouragement, and also can be an approval of something or something. And the reason why you do that is because you want that thing to succeed. So whether it's just like you said, material, emotional, it's because I'm after the success of this thing, so I give it my support, whether it's to a human being or a non-living thing. So that's what support is to me.
Okay, since I asked you, I would like to ask the viewers too, what is support? You can drop that in the comment section on Facebook and we'll take it. For me, support is to provide comfort. Support is to provide encouragement. Assistance is to provide help to someone. And a very beautiful example of support is when your friend is in the deep and you try to be there for the person. We call it support. Or when you know, okay, a family cannot provide a meal at the moment or due to some financial problems, you try to be there for them. Or even you yourself, when you're going through a lot of things, there's how you can support yourself. Maybe by going to the Word of God, or even going extra, doing those extra shifts just to provide, you know, that extra means for yourself. And so many other things. If we're even to take it to the Bible, we will see so many of the examples. So that is support. And support is so important that when we have a friend we can lean on, when we have a shoulder we can lean on, we feel the burden a bit lightened. And also it's so important to the extent that we even have support groups, you know, in the society, where maybe if you have been in you've been abusing drugs, or you've been an alcoholic, or you've been doing so many of these negative things, there are support groups for you that you can actually register, be part of them. Then I don't know if they are easily found in Nigeria, but I know some countries that have the support group where they are set up. They are an organized type of support group specific to cater for the need of, you know, you that has been in one of these negative thing or the other. For example, we have the alcoholics, where they have maybe their support groups, people that have been abusing, or they have been in taking alcohol, they've abused it and all, and now they're trying to get sober. You know, they join the groups and they share their experiences, they share the negative things that happened to them while maybe they were so drunk, and what they did, you know, after at the end of the day, then they talk about it. That's the process of getting sober, because if you're on your own, there's a big chance that you can relapse on it. But if you are in a group or if you have someone to talk to, at least you can share your experience. Or sometimes where you even hear other people's experiences where maybe they had it very tough or very deep, you know, yes, yours is a bit progressive and you are getting healed at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, there's healing, you know, where everything is well taken care of and you've left that what is it called, that
negative,
the habit, you know, behind you.
You
and
know,
I think why are we always clashing? Okay, just when you were talking about the support group, I always look at it like a support system, just like you said, and it always takes me back to when you look at casualties in the hospital, for example, there's always a support system, something that supports you to keep you alive. And that's how important support is in our life. And just like you gave example of the support group we have, it's not even only those who abuse drugs, even those who are having all these terminal illnesses, they do have the support group. It's a way of helping you not to be depressed, anxiety, and you know, there's this way of having mental, it always have a way of affecting our mental health. So I think support is very essential because it's something that lifts you up. It's something that makes you feel that like an anchor you can lean on, somebody that you know that when things are not moving well, you can actually depend on. We need to come to realize that we cannot do things on our own. No matter how much you feel you don't need anybody, you need them, because whether you like it or not, they have a way of helping you, especially when it comes to emotional intelligence. You'll be able to, psychologically, you can stand straight, because if you're not psychologically stable, you'll not be able to do anything. You cannot make impact in church, you can't make impact at work, you can't make impact anywhere. And so support, we find support in various parts of our life, whether it's in the family, at home, you have people, your parents support you, and that's why we need them, or they're there to support you even academically. That's why you're able to read this stage in life. When you even look at it at work, the same way with support, because you can't be on your own. It takes me back to this song they do saying, I need you, you need me, we're all apart. You need each other. You can't stand on your own, because just like the Bible says, though we have different parts, but it's one body. So that is how the support system is. The eye cannot say to stand on its own. It's all part of the body. Imagine just a little injury you have on your body, entire everywhere, headache, you start feeling some knolls like that are growing. Why? Because the body is all part of it. So we need to realize that that is how we are, especially since we are Christians. You can't stand on your own. And sometimes people might be shy to come and let you know that they need help or they need support. But when you're sensitive enough, you know that somebody needs it, even though not everybody is open to receive help or to receive support from people. But you cannot just stand on your own. You definitely need somebody somewhere to lean on, somebody somewhere to contribute something. There's something like a puzzle. You need an idea to fix it and make it look meaningful at the end of the day. So we need to open ourselves. I think we have reached that point where you say, I don't trust anybody. I think that's where we are having. I don't trust anybody. Yes, nobody, we always say that thing, nobody's to be trusted. But there should be somebody that you can lean on. Not at least, it's a burden. It's like a ladder. You need somebody to hold it for you to reach that top place. So we need to come to realize that you cannot stand on your own. No matter how much you say you stand on your own. Look at Jesus. He could actually accomplish salvation alone, but he needed 12 disciples. Why did he do that? Was because somebody needs to take over. So that's the essence of having support system. It's important that we know that support is very, very paramount in everything that we do in life.
Mental health can be a tough battle for people, and today there are so many people that are going through a lot, and then some of them are not even they don't even have that boldness to come out to say, okay, I need help. You know, when you get to that point where you tell yourself that, okay, I'm going through this thing and I need help, that's when you start getting healed. And so many people neglect the issue of support. Sometimes you might feel less of a human. You might have this low self-esteem, and then you might want to wallow in it all by yourself, not knowing that, okay, you need support system. You need people that will be able to encourage you to say, okay, you deserve all the good things of this life. You are beautiful and fearfully made in the image of God, you know. And then there are times that some couples might be going through issues in their marriage, and then most times they won't want to go to meet that's why we have counselors out there that you can meet to share your issues with, and then they will support you. They will give you the right advices you need, even if they don't tell you, okay, do this, but they can give you something to fall back on. You don't have to fight all these battles all by yourself, because people, we are all here, like just like Celeste said, we are different parts but one body, and so we need each other one way or the other. You can't stand on yourself. You are not in the world all by yourself. You need people. We need support one way or the other, whether financially, whether psychologically, emotionally, every part of life we need support. And we should be able to support people around us in one way or the other. Sometimes some people might come to you and try to explain their issues to you. That their approach, or your approach towards the acceptance of whatever it is they are explaining to you even matters, because sometimes you see people do not want to even share their problems because of the way people would take it, or the way a private issue might turn out to be a public one, and so some people would like to draw back and not want to share. But even as we know that we should go out to look for support, or whenever we are down, we should be able to be those people to support other people around us. Like I said, there was one time I said on the show that I want to be that person that someone can rely on. I can be able to support financially or any way I can. Whenever my friends call me and say, I need you to do this for me, or I need you to I'm down on this thing, I need help, I should be able to go all out to be able to support people and support my friends.
You know, if we are to talk about support and the support groups, I think in Nigeria we should have so many of these organized support groups, because we've gone through a lot, even as a country, and people need to heal from the trauma of even bad government, that's bad administration, the trauma of this ASU strike, so many of these things, so many of this trauma, domestic violence, so many, like I can't keep mentioning them. I think we should have groups where you can easily talk, because we as Nigerians, we are so used to swallowing things up, then making jokes about them, then trying to see if we can let go. And even as individuals, we've done that. You see, as a family, maybe growing up, your sibling was showed more favor than you know, talking about favoritism and sibling rivalry, was shown more than you, and you just swallow it up, or maybe you've complained so many times and nothing has happened. Then you grow up in that, you know, space without, and that's the time you feel left out from the support. You feel okay, nobody understands you, so you don't even feel so they support you. Yes, they've paid your fees, they've done all, but those are parental responsibilities, you know, to the kids. Then if you come back to relationship too, you might be going through a lot that you don't even want to tell a friend that this is, because the friend does not have the capacity to tell you, or does not have the capacity to even be there for you. And so many times we've supported each other wrongly. Some people think support is, okay, maybe Stella is going through something, and Stella is telling me about it, and I'm telling her, don't, this is not a big deal. Why are you even crying over it? It's not a big deal. That is not support. You are adding to the pains of what she's even going through. You are saying my pains are not valid. How I am feeling is not valid at all. So I should tone it down and just get over it. We are forgetting that we are different, you know. Then or I try to tell you, I understand, I've been through that before. No, even if you've been through that before, just like I said, we are different, and our capacity to accommodate or to take up pains, you know, is different. Just the same with our capacity to take up excitement and even joy, you know. But support is something that you do deliberately. Support is even listening when you are in pain and I'm just there, not talking, just listening. Support is asking, what can I do? You know, support is not trying to compare your own pain with mine, and is it because of this thing that you are crying over, if you know what I'm going through? Or something like, okay, you tell me as simple as I am hungry, then I'll tell you, my hunger is even more than your own. Me that I've been hungry since yesterday. We try to take up our problems to to beat them with you that is telling me, more like a comparison, more like, okay, you should even focus that it's me that is going through that pain. No, do you know there are some people that go through pain? When their friends come to them to talk, they leave out their pains and listen. Just be there. And they sometimes they don't even advise. They just listen. And you know there is that you feel as if you've gotten therapy at the end of the day just by talking to someone, you know. So, and at the end of the day, be like, this person supported me while I was in this pain. What do you do when your support system now? Okay, before I ask that question, we are humans. Just like Celeste said, you can't be an island. There are times that we look for support, even in our friends, even in people that we look up to, and all of that. What do you do when your support system, that person that you rely on, that person that you feel is your support, what do you do when your support system is now hurting you?
It's not hurting you.
What do you do in that particular point? Because just like I said, it's not like we have organized support systems that you go to and, you know, talk to. I know we have the therapists, you know, where they do therapy. We have the shrinks, but it's hard for a common Nigerian to just, even though, yes, it is, they are doing it now, but mostly we rely on friends. Mostly we rely on people that we feel, okay, this person, if I talk to, you know, then there are times that you go through problems, but because this person now has failed you in so many of these things, or this person has done something wrong that you feel, okay, you can't talk to, you are hurting, you can't tell this person, and the person is still, you know.
There was a time in Nigeria when suicide was very high, and we were wondering what was the cause. And I think from various research and reading, I just discovered that we are quick to say, Joyce, I'll be there for you. But when you call me, I'm not there to be like, I'm nowhere to be found. I don't give you a listening ear. But I was saying, whatever pain you're going through, you can count on me, you can count on me. And that was part of the reason why we could see people looking excited and happy. Yet, people were committing suicide, people were going through depression. Lots of people, I had a friend just recently that was dead, and what was the cause of his death? They said it was depression. Now, sometimes we say this is a support system, this is the person I need support, and the same people we look up to are the people that hurt us back most times. Now, that won't stop us from sharing our pain or sharing with, or even though it varies because we have different personalities. Just like you said, your pain might not be the same with mine. What you've gone through might not be the same. But I think we're quick to judge people rather than we say we want to listen to people. But we only think about the quantity, not the quality. Because quality time matters to people. Just like you say, sometimes just listening. They gave an example of Jupa and his friends. The first time they came, they were actually good friends because they didn't talk. They listened until at the tail end. You wonder what made them to open their mouth in the first place. Now, those were the support system he depended on, and they turned back hurting him. Now, the only way you can survive such, because we are human, is if truly you have an encounter with Christ and you had other people, because pouring so much into people and depending that this person will be there for me is the reason why most of people don't open up, and they end up, they prefer to swallow their pains, especially this part of the country where we have already grown to be tough people. We've learned to handle our problems by ourselves. I don't depend on anybody. If I cannot solve the problem on my own, fine, then let it be. Why? Because we've not even find solace, even in church groups that are supposed to be the people. When I share that this is an addiction I'm suffering with, before I realize it, before I close from home, everybody in the area will know that I said I fornicated, or will know that I said I'm struggling with drugs. And these are things we cannot even open up and share. Why? Because we feel that if I just tell you, I'll hear it from people. But that will not stop us from learning to. I think this will start from an individual. What can I do? Because definitely people will hurt you. People will definitely turn their back. The people we depend on our support will turn their back on us. They will not always be there for us. But I think the first way we can start, because I cannot say don't talk to anybody, or I cannot say Jesus will be there for you, because Jesus will not come down. Jesus come in form of people. He used people. And I think this was just related with what I read this morning from the devotion, where they say God in skin. there are lots of people, if you look at the Bible, then the church in Romans 12, where it said that they share together as a group. Whatever pain you're going through, I can share it. If you have much, you share with me. So they didn't even know who was rich and who was poor, because we were all together. So I think we need to go back to that attitude again. Not just a material thing, but there are very little things you think they don't matter, but it matters to people. Somebody as simple as not finding her tea in the morning can just disrupt the day, and you feel like, see, you were being judgmental. And I think that's the reason why people don't longer depend on anybody anymore. They prefer to soak it in. If it kills them, it kills them, but they will not talk to anybody. That's why if you're surprised, it's somebody that has been happy, somebody that has so much achievement, yet he or she wants to commit suicide. What's the problem?
So like, this is very true. This is a very beautiful point. No wonder we have a high rate of suicide, you know, in the society, because the support system or the people around have failed. We go through a lot of battles every day. There are some that you might be able to take it well, and there are some that if it is given to me, I won't be able to take it. Now, if you check the people that have committed suicide in the past, sometimes their friends come to Facebook and say, and yesterday we chatted, and yesterday he wrote something like this on his status, and you know, we asked him, be strong. When you tell somebody be strong, doesn't automatically mean that they're like, yes, I am strong. No, you know, be strong or this thing will pass is nothing. No, like I said, people's emotions are valid. Do not always try to disqualify it. Like, so is it this small thing, you know, that is making you go through? They come to social media and they say some things. Sometimes when I check the comments, it's not in judgment now, but in observing, so that I will learn if there are things like this, you know, that come to me. Somebody might just tell you, I am tired of this life. You know, maybe when you're chatting with the person, I'm tired of this life. And the next thing, you just see that, okay, the person has committed suicide and is everywhere. Then you come to social media and you will scream, munch, you know, the chat from the previous night, and you put and say, this was the chat between me and this person. What did you do? I'm not saying maybe you killed the person because you didn't support, but maybe just one thing might have changed the person's heart or the person's mind. And you know, depression sometimes is not always okay. People that are depressed don't always show that sadness. People think depression is when someone is sad, when somebody, you know, no. You see the happiest people, the people that present themselves to be happy, dancing about, shouting at the rest. Maybe the person is depressed, you don't even know. He's doing that to distract himself or herself, you know, from the situation at hand. You don't know what he does when he goes home, you know. But we tend to see people that are sad. What's wrong with you? Why are you sad and the rest? No, that happy person, that person that is trying to put smiles on people, if you check deep down, maybe there's something wrong. Is it depression? Is it loneliness? You know, all of these things. Or the people that are confused about life, they don't know the purpose of life, they don't know what it is about. And you know, mostly you find it in growing up, from the teenage age, you know, to the adulthood. Sometimes you are confused, especially when you've just graduated from school and maybe there's no work. Even if there are times that we ask questions, you know, if not for the liberty that we have in Christ now, that we're exposed to the word. But you ask questions, what is this life about? Am I supposed to just work, then die at the end of the day? Or what is this life? Why am I always being disappointed? My relationship is not working. There is no work. There is no this. I am not happy, you know. And they always feel the last resort is to take their lives. Or the last resort is to go into drugs. The last resort is to go into alcoholism, prostitution, so many of these things. There are times where if you are deliberate and you sit with someone that has been through that life, sometimes it's not about the money, especially prostitution. Sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's to fill that vacuum, you know, in the heart. Sometimes it's to break out from the loneliness. Sometimes they try to find peace in people. They try to find someone that will fill them in, and they do all those things. Even smoking cigarettes is it to live, even if we are not bringing solace to the person, but at least we are going to be a shoulder, you know, a support system. Let someone see you as a support system. If you are being told something, and you know, there are some people that they ask you what you are going through, not because they want to support you, not because they want to be there for you, not because they even want to mock you, but they want to rate the level of your problems in their own to feel better about themselves. Thank God. Sele is evil. Sele doesn't even have 1 naira. Thank God, me, I even have rice at home. Thank God, my own problem is even this. Why will you want to do that? You know, or some people even come to you, okay, trust me, I'm a support system and the rest. But the moment you're opening up, and you know it's very difficult to open up to someone. Even when you are opening up, you don't say everything. It's a gradual process. You are the only one that knows. Sometimes I used to say, I don't even have the words to connect how I'm feeling. You know, and it's better for me to just be in that moment, especially when I'm quiet about issues. I'm just in that moment. I'm just praying that, okay, what do I have to do differently in this moment that I am? Because if I start telling you, I might tell you in a way that will even make sense to you. At the end of the day, tell me, is it this small thing? You know, because maybe I don't have the words to tell you. Or sometimes I might exaggerate it in a way that I'd be like, wow, you are suffering, no? You understand? And it will even hard for me if you tell me I'm suffering, because I'll start saying, wow, so this is really a big deal. But when I'm in the moment, you know, support systems are very important, but most times we are careful to having those support systems. Except maybe if we go to the organized support system, that's the therapist, the shrinks, you know, where you talk to and they don't judge you. And there's nothing like, okay, hearing your gist, like what you shared with the person outside.
The thing is, this issue of support system can never be overemphasized, because just like you said, people are going through a lot, and then we need each other. That's just the thing. When people become less judgmental, less trying to compare their problems with other people's own, I think we'll have more people to lean on. And then looking for support system, you can't just go out and just, even some of your friends are not worth you saying some of these things to. You have to look for people that you really, really trust, that you can tell your whole heart to, that, okay, this is the way it is, the way you're feeling it, you just say it out, so that you'll be able to get this proper support that you need. We've seen a lot of let me say celebrities that have come out, like they will say this person was in depression and all of that. Like, you would just be wondering. I know I saw one of these gospel artists that I saw on the internet. They said she was in depression, and I was just wondering, this person that sings beautifully, she even brings people are really going through a lot, and then we need each other. Like Sele said, the story of Job, his friends were supposed to be his support system. Even his wife, that is supposed to be the major support system, she was the worst among the friends. What they even said was even better than what she said. So even when people come to us to explain things to us, we should have that open mind to accept whatever it is that they are saying, to be able to process. At that moment, you might not even say anything. You can just keep quiet, listen, and then maybe later you can, okay, this is it, this is it, this is it. You can explain some things based on what you feel will help the person. Because sometimes when someone explains his problems to you, and you just say some things at that moment, you might not even say the right things the person wants to even hear, but maybe you can just go to your closet and then ask God to help you. Okay, how do I help this person? How do I support this person that is going through this thing, so that we'll get the right way and the right measures to help people that are going through some things. And even when we are going through issues too, or problems, we should be able to know how to support ourselves. Because like you mentioned earlier, you can support yourself, not really necessarily going out to other people to support you. How do you even grow that support system within you that can help you support yourself even when you are facing through all those things?
You know, permit me to say that as friends or as people, if you have nothing good to say, shut up. Like, keep quiet. It's better you don't talk than talking and end up adding pain and sorrow to people. We are, just like I said, we're quick to judge people, and we don't pay attention to details about things. You make mention of, you see a post and you're like, and she spoke to me, and this was what we said. We were not paying attention to the details. Most time we feel like we're listening, but we're not paying attention to people. It's something for you or it's easy for you to say, okay, I spoke to this person or I was listening, but we're really paying attention to what the person is saying. Because if you're really going to be a support to someone, then you need to learn to pay attention to people. You need to be understanding. You need to have empathy over people. Above all, you need to learn to be there just to listen. Give them your ear. It's all someone might need. There's over time, I said, I think the best way, because when I was looking at what people are going through, I said maybe as easy as sending just a chat or a Bible verse to someone. You never can tell what that Bible verse can do to someone. I know how I actually benefited from that, like just a Bible passage, and that Bible passage came at the right time because it just fits into what I was going through. The person was not even aware of that. And I think we need to learn, especially as Christians, to pay attention. God might just be telling you, why don't you do this? Or you might just have the urge of sending something and you refuse, or you just feel that it's just an urge. But sometimes it's just a way of God pushing you to be of help or support to someone. You just, okay, you just feel, okay, let me just give this person 100 now. Possibly the person didn't even have transport. And just that 100 naira you gave has just lifted that person's mood. So we need to learn not to be judgmental, and then we need to learn to always be there emotionally for people. I've said it's not about the money people have. Some people really need this emotional support, and that is, I think, the biggest support we can ever give to people. Be there for them when they need you. Don't just say, I'll be there for you. Someone can be in a problem and say, I'm praying for you, but truly are you praying for the person? Or you just say this, how the person will feel okay. Okay, somebody said he's praying for, but you don't pray. And we are where we are today because of people's prayers, not even because of what we say about ourselves. It's because of what people say about you. When somebody say, I believe in you, you can do this. Let's look at, for example, now the workplace that we are. There's just this one person that when you just see that person, just a way of you just see ideas coming through your mind. Why? Because the person has been the support system. It's not about what the person say, but it's the way the person is always like a cheerleader for you. Lois mentioned, and you also said the fact that we need to learn to also develop that support system within, especially in situations where the support system you've been depending on fails you. Then what do? Will you slump down because the support you've been depending on all of a sudden is not there? We need to learn to develop that. And how can we learn to develop that? Especially, you need to learn to open yourself to other people. There are activities, exercises, things you do that are positive, that will have a way of lifting your spirit up. There are Bible passages, there are beautiful, meaningful music that you listen to, and after that you feel something has lifted, especially when you music that are godly music. Especially they have a way of, you hear the songs and you feel, wow, something has actually, this burden has been lifted up. So I think we need to learn that if you don't have anything that will add more comfort to people, it's better you don't talk. You can't just, somebody just tell you, I lost my cat, and you're like, cat. You don't know what that cat meant to the person. Possibly there's, like, I remember I was sharing with someone when I lost one of my dogs, and that dog was that dog was great in the family that my mom didn't even want to witness the burial. Permit me to use that word, you get. It's just a way of, there are things that people attach love and support to. This is a dog that you sit down when you're gisting, where she's like, I'm like, do you know what I'm saying? But it's just the connection you've grown to. Even if it's an inanimate object that does not talk, people attach love and support to things. So when someone is sharing with you, do you know this is what happened to me? Learn to empathize with the person, connect. Okay, if I have lost something more valuable to me, I don't need to tell you that. How will I feel? Possibly that's how this person is feeling at this moment. What can I do to make the person more happy? We look at other developed countries and we see they are living happier, they are healthier. Why do you think that somebody will die at the age of 90 and that person will die at the age of 40? It's a support system. And when you have good support system, you are happier, you live longer on earth because you don't have any stress. Somebody somewhere has lifted that stress off you. When you wake up in the morning, somebody has actually helped you clean your car. As simple as just to clean the car. It's a support because you have helped me to handle that. You are coming out from a program and then possibly you were already complaining that the guy I'm going to wear is squeezed. Somebody just help you to, okay, since I'm not doing anything, it's a support. Very little things that you think they are not important, but they mean so much to people. So I think we need to learn to connect to people. Learn people's personality, especially people who have attached meaning to certain things. To somebody might just be acts of service. Somebody might just be your words. Just learn. what is it that this person attached to, and in my own little way, what can I do to help the person? At least I'm not God, but at least there's something I can do. I know that yes, I added something valuable to this person's life.
When you remember that you lost your dog and you were explaining to someone, and I remember we lost our dog too. His name was Wicked. From the name, you have the mental picture, in your head. Like, he was a support in the house. It was as if we couldn't do anything without the dog. You can't even come to our house just like that, But when he started getting familiar with you, there's how, sometimes we even sleep and leave the gates open. There's how he was trained to do one or two things in the house. When he died, come and see how we're mourning him. So imagine someone coming to say our emotions was invalid because it was just a dog. And if you look at support, even in the wider scope, nations need other nations to support them. We've been supported so many times by other countries. In Nigeria, where they loan us. Now it has been, they loan us so much money, or when we're going through issues security-wise, they send in their own army, they send in their own support. You hear a country supporting another. Then if you come down even to the government, there are people in politics that support each other. There are people that even in public sector, that support each other, knowing that, okay, this person is weak in this particular area, I am strong in this particular area. Why don't I put my own strength into this person to see that, okay, he can function well even in his office. Then when you come down to even a victim of accidents, after the accident, what is being done? If it is your leg that is broken, there's a support that he puts on you. I used to have a friend that had iron, in his leg because it needed to heal. Then after how many years, they will remove it, put another one or something. Well,
it's painful.
It is, and so many of these things. But to the extent that when you are going to the bank, those their doors, he doesn't go in there.
Actually, my dad has that implant presently, so actually, removing it is painful. So it's just like
people would just prefer to just
leave the implant there. So it's just like the support you're saying. Imagine when you take that support away. Yes, the person will start, but you need that support, even though it's painful. But you need it.
So many of these things, if you look at it, we have support, and sometimes it's not even the implant, the crutches that you use. There are people that maybe they have bad eyesight. What do they use? They use the glasses. It's a support. Every area of our life, check it. There's something supporting you. If you think there's nothing supporting you, there is God supporting you.
True, the biggest.
If you think just think about it. Okay, I have my legs, I have this. There's nothing. I don't even have friends, so there's nothing supporting me. I think you are wrong in it. Check the levels in your life. You will know that, okay, there's a support. And talking about me personally, I've grown to an extent that it's hard for me to rely on a support. Talking about people now, because so many times I've been beaten, or so many times I felt, okay, after sharing with this person, I'm still empty. After sharing, and I decided, okay, what am I supposed to do? I went back to the Bible, and I realized I'm not supposed to put my hope, my trust on men, on horses, on this, on that. I'm supposed to put it in God, because no matter what you are going through, he will fill it up. How will he fill it up? You can't do it as an island still. God will use people. He will still use those people. He will still raise people, that will be deliberate about you to fill up that. So it's not about saying, okay, I can't rely on people. No, you can't rely on people from your own understanding. But when you rely on God, he will raise the people that you need, that you can rely on, that will fill up. It's more like, okay, I'm going through a lot and I'm asking God, okay, when I say God now, know that I'm talking about the Holy Spirit, because he's our comforter, he's our helper. So I'm being specific now. And I ask, what will happen? I'll be pricked to the extent I will know that, okay, there is help that is coming, or the Holy Spirit can prick someone to know that, okay, Joyce is going through this. Give it to her or help her in it. There are sometimes I don't talk to people about my problems, but before you know, that problem is being solved. Someone will just come in and ask, what is happening to you? Tell me. And before you know, you are trying to explain, but you are crying or something. Or before you know, you just talk to the person, even if he doesn't do anything. you'll be consoled because the Holy Spirit is playing its function in your life and in the life of the person. That at the end of the day, you'll be able to conquer it. And there are sometimes you feel, okay, you are so deep in problem, very deep. But no matter the problem, no matter what you think or where you think you are deep, do you know God is deeper? Like He's at the extreme of that problem already, waiting to provide that support, waiting to help out in the condition that you are. Let's look at the story in the Bible because it's more like I'm talking in abstract, but I want to bring an example. Aaron in the Bible is described as a faithful companion. Look at it. Why wouldn't I want to be that? I will want to be mentioned. If tomorrow my name will be written in the Bible, you know, as someone that has done her own bid, I should be referred to as a faithful companion to someone. And he was a faithful companion to his brother Moses. How? He functioned as Moses' assistant when Moses complained that I stutter. God, you are asking me to do this. I'm a stammerer. My speech is not, clear enough. I cannot do it. This is it. Then God told him, you need a support. That's a helper, right? That will talk on your behalf. And that was when they were to confront what's his name, Pharaoh about their people, and God provided support to Moses. Look at Moses. He didn't think he needed anything. He had everything, the strength, like I can do it. God picked him, selected him. You are the one that will do this. But at the end of the day, he told God his weakness. It's not like God didn't know, but he mentioned it. I am weak in this. I stutter. I'm a stammerer. I can't do it. And God said, no, don't worry. There's a support that is coming to you. And that will be Aaron. And Aaron functioned as a support to Moses. And that's how people are in our lives. That's how some of us are in other people's life. Like I always say, always know your assignment. When you are placed in a place, it's not about just placing you. It's about an assignment that you are placed there. You might be in this organization thinking, okay, I'm here to just present and go. No. Maybe you're here to change a life of another staff, your colleague. Maybe you are here to support, someone that have a deficiency in something. Or maybe somebody's marriage is going through a lot and the Holy Spirit is directing the person. Go and talk to Sele. Sele is the person that I position to heal this problem. We have to be specific. Yes, we are scared of relying on people for support. But have you spoken to the Holy Spirit? Have you gone to the Father to ask him, okay, this? He will raise the people that will support you in it.
They say charity begins at home. All these people we've seen and we've talked about that have committed suicide. Every other person came from a family. And so I just feel like sometimes it's the neglect from maybe the parents or your siblings, for people that have siblings, that they had to go through all those stages that made them to take their lives. Today in the 21st century, everybody wants to be a career, like every mother wants to be a career woman. Fathers are out there trying to provide and all of that. And then sometimes children are just left in the hands of nannies, in the hands of their teachers and all of that. And most times people, when they start growing like that from that early stage, they don't have that proper support and proper care that they need, that is essential for them to grow up with and have that mindset that you can actually support yourself, or there are ways you can do things differently or even better. They don't experience that. And that's why we see these days, like, we have very high rate of suicide, high rate of depression, high rate of mental illness, and a lot of so many mental things coming up. But then I just want to say that there are ways we can still do things better in the family. Like we can share appreciation, show your family members that you care about them often. Sometimes I usually tell my friends that when I was in school, when my dad was around, he was the only one that was always checking up. Like, he will call you all the time and ask, how are you doing? Like, even when after 2 days he doesn't call, and you don't call back. When he calls you, that won't you check on me too, and all of that. I can spend 3 months in school and my mom will not even for one day say I have one child somewhere. She hardly does that. I don't know why. Maybe it's just her personality or her nature that for her to do that, but he was always doing that. I had that support from him. And then when he died, and we now all of us, because we all experienced that from my mom, and then we sat and said, okay, Mom, this time is your own turn to be checking up on us, because the person that has been checking up on us is not there. So you need to start checking up on us, so that one day we will not sit and say, okay, we don't even have parents again in this life. So it was just like that. I know there are so many other people that are going through this kind of thing. For me, I think I grew up to have this thing, that even if she doesn't call, I don't really bother. But there are other people that they might not have that understanding, that okay, even maybe if your mom doesn't call, she doesn't like you or she doesn't love you. Why did she even give birth to me? And a lot of all of that. So our parents need to check up on us. We need to check up on them as well. They even need us as well. They need to once in a while, or every day. I think every day you should be able to call your sibling, call your parents, and if you're not staying in the same place, to check up on them. Or even if you're staying in the same place, maybe after work or during weekends, you can meet your mom and mommy, how are you doing? Like, what's going on with you? I think they need that as well. We can share quality family time with our siblings, with our children, and all of that. I think it will help a lot in solving some of these issues. That is not necessary that every time you have an issue, you must run to your friend. And most of these friends, they are not even reliable. When you say one thing here, you hear 3 different or 10 different versions from different people. So when we get that thing from home, I think it will go a long way in helping all of these things.
Well, even though families these days have failed their words, their children,
and family is supposed to be that support,
and our first support, just like she gave an example of Job's wife. She was supposed to be his first support, but she failed him woefully. And even the friends he depended on also at a point in time failed him. But we need to just like caution ourselves. If we're the support we're seeking for, you can't seek for support. Meanwhile, you yourself, you've not been supportive to people in any way. Definitely, people will feel you're comfortable. Even though I said earlier on, it's not everybody that is open to let you know that that they need your support. But if you're very observant, you read the details, you read in between the line that this is what people need. We gave an example of family, which is supposed to be the basic support we need, and the government that we depend on support. After school, I need support to get employment and I don't get. We need to check inwardly and develop the support for ourselves, because we've gotten to the point where, especially here in Nigeria, we had to grow this tough skin for ourselves. We need to tell ourselves certain things. You need to be your own cheerleader. You need to be the one to tell yourself you need to do this. You need to do everything at the point in time. But we just like we said, if you're in a family, even though family these days is not about blood, there's some of us that have gotten our families from not even our parents. And even though our parents are supposed to be done, or as parents, they have done so much for you, it's now your turn to be a support system to them. You have failed. You feel that they need it. It's not everything that everybody has. Just like we said, we are scared of people's judgment. I think that is why we don't open up to ask for support or to tell people to support us or to support people, because we're afraid of what people say. We always put on the smile, but if you take away the smile, you know that people are going through a lot. There are deep wounds inside. People are really going through lots of stress. People are going through a lot of emotional distress. So we need to come to that point and realize that support is something that we need it. You need to be supported and you need to give out support. Especially we are Christians, we should open ourselves to listening, open ourselves to what is God saying. You mentioned the fact that wherever God places, because you have an assignment, ask God, why am I here? What is the thing that I need to do? Who is that person? Because wherever you are, there is somebody that God has sent you the reason for. Check that place. I've always said, I want to be the reason that when I'm not there, people will feel not like I am God in their life, but you feel my absence. You feel why? Because I have been like a source of joy. Every day I wake up, I say, God, the reason for which I'm created, let me accomplish it. As I'm going to work or wherever I'm going this morning, Let me be the source of joy and happiness to people around it. I always want to be that. And maybe that's why the moment I see somebody not smiling, I'm quick to say, why don't you smile? Maybe it's my way of making people feel there's need for you to smile, there's need for you to be happy. Life is hard already. So we should stop making life harder for people. Why can't you just share some love everywhere you go? It's a way of showing support to people. And love must not be in the money you give to people. Just a word of encouragement. What can I do to ease your work? It's a way of supporting people, because people are going through a lot. Somebody will not tell you this is what I need. But be observant. Read in between the lines of people. How can I fit in this vacuum? I know it's easy for us to say. It's one thing to say. It's another thing to do. But like you mentioned, it's a deliberate act. It would just happen. It's not magic. You tell yourself, what can I do? If it's as simple as forming a WhatsApp group, putting your friends, it's just one send and everybody gets it. You can put a Bible passage or just a lovely, you send it and everybody. I think I had that habit then, but I don't know why I stopped. Then in secondary school, I sit down and write love letters.
You're still innocent then.
I sit down and write love letters to all my friends, like my mates then, and I go to their beds and drop it. Even though I did write my name, I don't know where I was getting that idea for, or maybe I was watching a movie, but it was just a way of sharing love. And I think it's something I can bring back to see that I share love to people. Somebody can just look like, wow, this Bible passage. It might not mean anything at that time, but I think later on the person will really appreciate it. And even if the people are no more, I always tell people, give people their flowers while they're still alive. Give me my tribute now, let me know. Don't wait when I'm dead to see Selah has been. No, tell me now. If I'm evil, tell me now. But there's a way you say it in a more loving manner, not in the way that you're judging people. Let people have this reassurance. Let people feel encouraged when they're around you. Don't be the reason why somebody will commit suicide. Don't be the reason why somebody is depressed. Don't be the reason why somebody hates work or hates school or hates life. Why? Because we have been a thorn in people's flesh. So we really, really need to start working on ourselves. What you seek in another person, be that thing first and foremost.
And when Lois was talking about her father and their differences with their mother, I just remembered mine, and I will always talk about him because I always want to give him his flowers, no matter the opportunity. And I think my father was my father in this life for a reason. It was more like he was given to me to be exposed to love, for me to be exposed to love, for me to be exposed to so many things, because it won't be long when he'll be taken away from me. When he was doing all those things he was doing, I was learning from him. It was as if I was in class with him, teaching me, Then I grew up with that kind of love. I grew up with that kind of exposure that he taught me. He was a support system. He was always there. Like, I've never seen him tired that when you go to him, he will. There's how, if I start describing him, you would think I'm not describing a human being. He had his weaknesses, but all these things overshadowed the weaknesses that even today, if my mother used to sit with us and say, your father was like, I will always argue it out, or I will just hear her out. I will go there, they should be like, damn, ma, you love your father, that's why. And I'm like, no, he's not that. These are the things I learned from him. So I want to hold on to that memory of the beautiful things I learned, because just like I said, it was a deliberate attempt, because he'll be taken away from me. Why did I say that? When everything like that happened, my mom is the opposite. It's not like she's not loving or whatsoever. But there are times you call my mom, she'll make you feel as if you are disturbing her. Or what's this one again? Oh, there is how different. And just like Lois said, I can stay and there will be no call. The day I see a call on my phone, I know that she's about to send me on an errand. Go to the junction, go and collect this thing for me now something. And she will even wait for you to greet her. I was telling my sister, I was like, what is it? What is it? When mama calls, she should wait. You should exchange, please, and then she should do as if she remembers something. Hey, there's a message, it will be better. But not the straight one that you'll be like, good evening, ma. At the end of the thing. But in those things that I was exposed to, I started asking God, why did you do that? Why did you give me something beautiful and you took it out?
Take it away.
I am still waiting for a compensation. It's as if God is, as in God owes me something, you know, compensate me because you took this. I want someone that will be a support like that. But a lot have failed, and I realized that I was exposed to that so that I can learn it. Then I'll be a support to someone too. I was exposed to that so that I can learn, then I can serve in my own way. And I started asking God, how can I serve? How can I be a support? It's not about me. This life is not about me. It mustn't be me all the time. How can I do it differently? Sele, I am somebody I can give. It's not like I have the most beautiful relationship, but when I advise you in the relationship, you think I have maybe like a psychological facility that I deal with that. Do you understand? But mine is not like it's beautiful, or sometimes I don't even know how to handle some things in the relationship. There are sometimes I advise my sister who is married, and at the end of the day she's happy. At the end of the day there are things that happen. Even my mom, that advice I give her, that should be like, Joyce kid, and that's why I tell you these things. But the other ones, there are some that she doesn't tell me because I don't know how to deal with that. You understand? Then so many people too, there are times that even if it is not talking to them, even if it is one thing or the other, there's how they feel at the end of the day, that I know that yes, there's a duty, there's an assignment, and I want God to still reveal himself in my life with it. You see how we can be a support? We shouldn't always look at, okay, this person must support me, you must support me. What can I do differently? How can I be also a support to someone? We have come to the end of the discussion, but I would like to hear few seconds, your closing words.
Well, for me, the importance of support is for balance. And the reason why I said I appreciated that because of the hearing aid I wear. Sometimes when I'm without it, I don't hear people right. It's like if it has a way of bringing the moment I'm with it, it brings my attention there, and then I get to hear, and it gives me balance. You should be that balance in people's life, because people need you to lean on to get to that place, to succeed in life. Don't deprive somebody of that support. Meanwhile, God has sent you for a particular reason in people's life. Open yourself up and always have the discerning spirit to hear from God when he's speaking to you.
Always learn to have healthy conversations when you're going through something. Be able to open up to someone that you really trust. It's good to have mentors and people that you are accountable to, so that you will not be going through life issues all by yourself. And I pray that God will help us.
Thank you very much. And I will leave our viewers with this. Do not be a pain to someone, rather be a support. And if you think you cannot be a support, I think you should leave out. You should step aside for other people to come in and support. And talking about support, we just want to appreciate our viewers for always supporting us, Equa Television, and even this show, To This Life. And we are open to sponsorship. In case you would like to sponsor this segment, To This Life, you can call us, you can send us messages, and we'll see how you can come on board. And we are appreciating you for your untiring support, and continue to also support us financially by your prayer, because it is not easy. This fight is not against flesh and blood. It's not against you know, the physical, but flesh and blood. There's so many things we are fighting, and we need your support in it. Thank you very much to the Equa executive for giving us this platform, you know, to bring good news to viewers. And thank you also to the production crew for putting all effort to see that this has been a success. And thank you to Lois and Sele. My name is Joyce, and I'm leaving you with a beautiful day. Have a great one. Bye.